Here we go. All-star voting is finally here. I'm going to wait for a minute, right? Because everyone, take a second for people to come in. I need to put my links up, etc., etc. It'll take a second to get a couple people in. But of course, it's an impromptu stream. Not expecting it to be crazy busy now, but I think I'll get some views later. That's basically the plan. Because if you're unaware, the ELF All-Star votes have gone live. Paused everything. When I saw, thinking, do I want to do a stream now? Do I want to do a stream in a couple, maybe tomorrow? But I want to get my thoughts on paper. And I want to get my my All-Star votes out the way. So let me quickly get my links up. Wait for a couple of people to come in. And then we will get going. Because this is going to be... It's going to be interesting. Because I think some discussion should be had on a few spots. Of course, I will be showing up my screen. Just at the moment, when we're waiting for people, there's no point having me here. And I will be there. And it'll have my screen in the big one. So you don't have to worry about seeing what I'm doing. If you want to go and vote, it's literally the first thing to see on the ELF page, like the website. Super easy. I think there's a link on the Instagram as well if you look at that. Super easy. Can't really miss it, to be honest. It's got big all-star written across the top. Right, let me tag First Down Mag. And let's get kicking in a second. God, I did that wrong. Okay, First Down Mag. Here we go. My voice a little bit croaky today, I must admit. I've been talking quite a lot. I've been very busy. Talking, doing this, doing the here and there. If you haven't seen as well, I've been busy spreading my wings a little bit. So we're doing quite well. So I'll leave it a couple minutes, just settle down, get my voice warmed up, and then get into votes. And I'll actually show everyone what we're cooking with here. So here we go. This is ELF voting. I'm going to zoom. Actually, that's all right. I'll keep with that. Callback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I'm not sure how many we have of each yet. This is the first time I'm looking at. So we will see as we go ahead. I don't want to stamp in too many votes straight away. No, that's actually good. I should get ELF up, the ELF page. I should get the ELFopedia up as well, just in case. What's up, Laura? Can't miss this. It's right on the front, so if you want to vote yourself, it's unmissable. We're going to look at some stats. We'll see what's up with that. We'll look at ELFopedia. We'll take a lot of different things into consideration before we get into voting. So there's a lot to discuss. It's not easy when voting for All Stars because it's been a very busy season. It's been a great season, and we need to do it accurate justice. Some of these players are literally putting their bodies on the line for us, and they deserve a full good thought. All right, so we get to vote 2 quarterbacks. I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel like this one is too much of a debate. It's between 3. When we look at all of it, it's between Reed, Ben, and Jadrian. Personally, I don't think it's between anyone else. You've got Reed, 50 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Jadrian, 47 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Ben Holmes, 40 passing touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Everyone else had great seasons, Jalen had a great season, Chad had a great season, Russell had a great season, etc., etc., etc. For me, it's those 3. But we can only vote for 2. And that's why this is the first and probably the most stressful part. Because you could go for any combination, and I don't think I could really be mad at it. I think the one thing I would insist on it is probably Reed. Because he had the best season out of all of them. So I think Reed has to be the number 1 guy. I don't think that's really in question. He had a great year. He led in touchdowns, he led in yards, he had 4 interceptions all year, and one of them wasn't even his fault. He's only sacked 8 times, which is also something we've got to look at when you think about his offensive line. QBR as well was through the roof. Red zone attempts, most in the league. Red zone completions, most in the league. Money downs, most in the league. So pretty much anything you could argue about, it's him. That's what I'm thinking too, right? It is hard to ignore the 4 interception game that Jay had. We look at Ben Holmes. I don't think he's had a game that's similar to that. He had a slower start. Like, he wasn't as good at the start of the year, but he then, started gradually getting better. I mean, even his slower starts, he was still doing pretty well. But, not the best game against Ryan. I didn't exactly show out against Prague or the Enthroners like crazy. And then really, really picked up in the second half of the year. So it was incredible. So I am leaning towards Ben for my all-star selection. No disrespect to Jay, phenomenal player. But like you say, it's that Frankfurt game. That's the one, right? There's some bad throws. I mean, even the last game against Ryan, mistakes. I don't know. I'm just saying. I know Jay and me were good friends. I want to let that cloud my judgment. Had an amazing start, like literally flawless start. And then finished a little colder. 2 interceptions against Ryan one time. 4 against the Galaxy. Another 1 against Ryan. So, I think I'm going to go Ben. I think I'm going Ben. What's up, Joseph? I think I'm going to lock in those 2. Ben Holmes, read my voice. I'm going to do a big cough. I'm going to mute my mic. There we go. Should be better. Right, so Ben Holmes and Reed Sinnott are going to be my all-star voted quarterbacks. I don't think Reed's in question. You go Ben and go Jadrian, but for the things we laid out, we're going to go for that. Next one. Running backs. Again, another quite hard one because this year was a bit of not a down year for running backs, but a lot of guys got hurt, a lot of guys got injured. Glenn got injured. Sandro got hurt as well. So a ton of guys are actually, and then Kari got hurt too. So it is a lot of guys that got hurt. We need to look at touchdowns, and I think Hasselvanter is my lock. Got 1,000 yards, got 14 touchdowns. Formidable twice, but it's not like terrible. So I think he would be my number 1. 5.8 yards a carry. Phenomenal season for Lucas. He did have, how many carries did he have comparatively? Yeah, 176 attempts, so 178 attempts. So about on par. Didn't have like a crazy amount more than anyone else, didn't have a crazy amount less. I think that Hasselvanter had an all-star season. And I think I'm going to put Rodney with him because this is 2 running backs. Rodney finished incredibly strong, was great all year. I think he deserves it. He led the league in rushing, so it's hard to really take off of him. He had 3 100-yard games, plus had a 200-yard game, and like 2 of them are very close to having 100-yard games. So not far off. He scored 2 times, 1 time, 3 times. So he ended the run for him was spectacular. He didn't score in 2 games, which is pretty great. So I think that he would be. I think honestly it's quite easy for those 2 now. I think Rodney and then again though we're not counting Seelig. Right, let me just put them in there. I'm not clicking go just yet because we can get 2 votes. As much as I love Seelig. The fuck? Someone else on my house here. Crazy noise. I think as much as Seelig was an extremely impactful player, if only Albert didn't get hurt, would have been electric when he came back. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Albert as well. Who actually plays kind of like Albert is Justice, because they're both shorter receiver backs who can make an impact like all over the field. What's up, Jamal? How you doing, brother? Running back is probably one of the hardest positions because there are so many guys that you can go for. You can go for Rodney, you go for Hasselvanter, the 2 more obvious ones. You go for Zizelka because he had a great season. Go for Chris Monkaya. You could go for Kanta because he had a good receiving impact. You could go for Tomiwa. You could go for obviously Seelig because he had I think 1,000 total yards. Because Seelig, wasn't he pretty high on the all-purpose? He would be a fringe all-star. For me, I have a feeling he's going to get all-star because he's very popular, which, no, nothing wrong with that. But he got This is career all-purpose. Let's go for all-purpose rushing yards and total yards. Yes, so he was actually below Chris Munkai. That's interesting. So Chris Munkai got 847 on the ground, 188 in the air. Also had a couple of return yards. So actually finished with more overall yards than Justice Selig, which is very interesting. Hassavanta and Rodney also had more total yards than Justice. I think Justice, if he played those couple of games, he would be an all-star, but he got hurt, unfortunately. Actually finished with more receiving yards than he did rushing yards, which is pretty insane. So I'm gonna stick with those two, I think, for my running backs. Rodney and Hassavanta, 1 and 2 in the rushing record as well as touchdowns. So I'm gonna go for those two. I think that's reasonable. But I can see why someone would go for other ones, but I think I'm comfortable with that. Fullbacks. It's pretty obvious. It's Patrick Posh and it's Leon Helm. Patrick Posh is going to retire very soon. And Leon Helm. No one really else uses fullbacks as much as those two teams. Like, let's be honest. So, I think this one is the least debate that's needed. Especially with Patrick, because he plays so often. He's such a prevalent part of that Ryan Fire team. Just culturally and just as a natural blocker on that line. I think that one's pretty obvious. I don't think that was going to require too much thought. Wide receiver. Now this is one that does require thought. We get 6 receivers. Cruikshank's a lock. No debate. Cruikshank is a lock. I'm going to stab him in immediately because you'd be a fool if you didn't think that Aaron Cruikshank was an all-star. Willie P is another player I think deserves more all-star and offensive player of the year buzz. 1,700 total yards, 18 total touchdowns. Was great in receiving games, 754 yards, had some good return yards, also had a lot of rushing yards. Granted, was helped with that 300 at the end of the year, but was still a very effective receiver and scored a ton of touchdowns. So, also, John Cole completely turned the Endronas around. Over 1,000 yards. You look at the actual 1,000-yard receivers this year, there wasn't a ton of 1,000-yard receivers. Let's have a look. Was it 4? I want to say 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4 receivers. Cruikshank's obviously an all-star. I think Bolio is also an automatic all-star, so I'm going to put him in there as well. Just nice and easy. Great player. Was very impactful for the Nordic Storm. Scored a ton. Did well in all-purpose yards, but didn't return kicks, but still managed to get 1,400 total yards and 15 touchdowns. So for me, it's pretty unanimous. Because people don't factor rushing yards in. Some people just want it to be a receiver. So if you just go via receiver yards, he's second in the league. I think he was a great receiver this year. He also had 15 touchdowns. That's pretty spectacular. John Cole, comeback player of the year, and an all-star. Without him, they wouldn't have had a win. Without him, they wouldn't have been as interesting. Without him, they wouldn't have had that mid-season turnaround. No debate, I don't think. I also think that Willie P is deserving as well. Where's Willie P? There he is. Up there. So we've got 4. Now, here is the big question. Dal Stewart, great season, great hands, big play player, practically 1,100 yards, got 13 touchdowns. I think he probably is an all-star. It was just it felt like a quiet all-star year. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because the Panthers had a bit of a weird year in terms of their offensive identity, but he did get 1,591 yards, 13 touchdowns. I think he's an all-star. It was just a quiet 1,000-yard season. Someone said it to me the other day. They're like, it was the quietest 1,000-yard season they've ever seen from a receiver in the ELF, which I can understand. I can understand why someone would say that, because there was one where he got 200, I think it was against Vienna. Let's actually look at Daryl's games, because again, no disrespect, he's a phenomenal receiver, no one's going to doubt that. And I think that he probably is going to be an all-star. It was just, I don't remember it as much as I remember some other receivers' seasons, It's just how it goes sometimes. All right, these stats are wrong. Obviously, his total numbers are good, but that's not his real ones. But he did finish with a great year. He basically had 100 yards a game. Like he was probably an all-star player. So I think we can put him in. I don't think there'll be a ton of Panthers here, honestly, but so I got one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So do I want to put a European? That's the question. Because Malik Stanley had a great year. I actually think he had an underappreciated year because he was big for a Tabor, but also don't want to give 6. Tyler Foster, I think, is very valid. I'm just not so sure because I do feel that might be a little early for an all-star vote for Foster because he had a spectacular year. He does have great hands, a great rack receiver. He's very fast, very agile, very, very good. But was he better than Harlan? I don't think so. Harlan has a bigger impact when it comes to blocking. That's why I can see people voting for him as a receiver. Oh, I'm not mad at that, honestly. Like, there's a lot of people that can go back and forth. John Carr had a lot of targets, had the lowest catch percentage of any 1,000-yard receiver. So I'm not mad at it all. I want to look at Malik's games. If it works for Malik's games, it didn't work for Daryl's games. Because he had some moments I feel like he had a lot, and some where he didn't have many at all. Right, these numbers aren't right either. But he did have a very strong start. 1 touchdown, 3 touchdowns, 2. Decent in the middle, but he was better at the start of the season. And then teams started figuring out he's really, really fucking good. This last one I'm kind of struggling with a little bit, I must admit. Because there are a lot of guys you could go for. And I kind of feel like I should put a European in there. Geyer had a slow start of the year. Harlan did do great. And he had an unbelievable end. So I'm kind of thinking Harlan. He did more with less. Because he had, 47 catches compared to other Europeans, 58 and 64. About equal to catch percentage. Only a little bit less yards. Was hurt for some of the games. Played in 10 games. But also had that 6 touchdown performance. And was phenomenal. But Harlan's a better blocker. And I value that a lot. Harlan is the best blocking receiver in the league by a mile. And he has been absolutely money in the last 4 weeks. If these stats are correct. 153 and 1. 154 and 6, 178 and 3, and then 44 and 1. I will go out and say that Ryan Farrell would not have made the playoffs if it wasn't for Harlan Quofi getting hot, and that's why I think that he's an all-star. I could hear arguments for Tyler Foster. I don't think it's ridiculous to say that he's an all-star at all. I could hear it for Lewis Geyer. I could hear it for Malik Stanley. I could hear it for maybe even Harley Jr. or Osborne or Fonz or whatever. But I think if you take out Stanley, Geyer, Foster, Harley, those playoff teams are probably still playoff teams. I do not think that Ryan Farrell are a playoff team if you remove Harlan Quofi's end of the season production. So I think I'm going to go for him. I think that he is probably an all-star this year. Which is impressive. Very impressive. I think that's my 6th. Harlan Quofi also, by the way, look at the spread of teams that we have so far. Harlan Quofi, the Ryan Fire, Dal Stewart of the Rochester Panthers, Willie P. from the Prague Lions, John Cole from the Havant Throners, Brendan Bolio from the Nordic Storm, and Aaron Cruikshank from the Madrid Bravos. I don't think I'm missing anyone. Because you look at total yardage, which definitely is important. Tyler Foster had a great season, but a lot of that is his return yards, which is important, but that's more of special teams player of the year kind of conversation, isn't it? So I think that he would be my guy. You know how much I value the tape and film, and his tape and film just is phenomenal. So we're going to lock that in for our receivers. Tight ends, I think it's a 2-horse race. It is absolutely Adria Botello Moreno and Florian Beerbalmer. It's not close. I don't think. Let me look at just tight end receiving yards. So both of them leading tight end receiving yards. Both of them have double-digit touchdowns, which, by the way, before this season, we'd never have a tight end have double-digit touchdowns. Now we have 3 of them. 2 of them. Sorry. We have Adria Botella Moreno, and we have Florian Villalobama. Both of them are spectacular. I think Philip Okonu will be an all-star in the future. I think Miranda it took him a while to get started, was very good, but he's a very talented player, no one's going to deny that. Kevin Mwamba, great player. There's a ton of really, really good tight ends in this league, but I think that I would go for those 2. Also unrelated, what do you think of the Ryan Fire's chances of 3-peat? Be careful what you say. I think his option, I definitely think it's there. I'm never going to deny Coach Armstrong or Jeffries or that defense. Like, there's a ton of really, 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 really good people on that. But I think they probably have maybe the lowest odds in the playoffs, which I know some people might use that as bulletin board material, but I think that they probably do currently have if you're looking at like betting numbers, I think they probably would have the lowest odds of making the playoffs. Which isn't a bad thing, It's motivation. So I don't think it should be taken as a massive negative. I'm going to get my other light out so you can see the second half of my face. But I think the all-star votes for tight end is probably the most unanimous decision that we will have as a community of all-star voters, because it ain't that close. I appreciate Ricardo. Thank you very much. Let's get those guys in. Next votes, offensive guard. There's so many amazing offensive guards in this league that, like, oh my goodness, I can barely even contain my exam. Right, Berlin. I don't think any of these guys are all-stars. Cologne, Verheervaar. I don't think any of those guys are all-stars. I'm going to have to just go team by team and maybe talk about them as I'm thinking about them, because the top half, not so much. All right. Dominic Unter, I think, is an all-star level offensive guard. So I get 4, so I actually do get quite a few. I'm going to put Dominic as one of them, and we're going to shuffle it, as potential guys. I'm going to shuffle it around a little bit if I see any more that I want to put in. Lewis Thomas, great player from Paris, definitely should be in the conversation. I think there's Ricard, appreciate you, brother. Let me get it up, see exactly how much, because I can never see, how it is with this layout. You're the man. Oh, shit. I appreciate that, Ricard. That means a lot. Thank you very much. You're an absolute fucking king. All right, Pro Lions, I think they're the great line, but I'm just, I'm going through. Jonathan Pepler, phenomenal guard. Ryan Fires, you got to put Nick Veens. Went past the Surge. Surge, I think you could put Meyer in there. You could put Vigani, he's definitely going to be in there. So I got 4 now, so I got to start narrowing it down. Vikings were good. Panthers, again, good. See, now I want to put Vigani in there, but who the fuck do I take out? That's a big question. Also, I forgot to reply. It's Tyler and Christmas for Rookie of the Year. I'm leaning towards... Fuck. Good question. I actually don't know. I'm thinking, off the top of my head, Chrisman, because he won the last game against the 2 of them. But also, Tyler was more of a threat on both sides. But is this offensive Rookie of the Year? Is this overall, does special teams numbers factor into you guys' votes on All-Star, on offensive Rookie of the Year performance? I'm generally intrigued to hear what you say about that. Because if you're looking at Tyler Foster as an offensive Rookie of the Year, are you only looking at his receiving and rushing, or are you taking special teams into account? Please do let me know. Okay. No disrespect, I love to do Thomas, by the way. This is what I'm thinking currently. Maybe Pepler. I don't know, maybe I didn't see as much of Pepler's tape this year, but Vikings were good. They were good. Who had the best run game this year. I know that's maybe not the best way to like do it, but like I'm just gonna get my thoughts on the paper, Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I was thinking I didn't see Pepler as much. I know he's a phenomenal guard. I'm just putting out players. That's what I was thinking. He didn't play as much. Untra, Nick Veen's played all. I need to see who played exactly. That's why I'm putting my thoughts into paper, Because I didn't feel like I saw as much of him as I'd had him when he was in Rhine. Team totals. Who had the best rushing offense? Oh, you know who actually was phenomenal, but I'm not sure if he's listed as a guard or a tackle? Okay, so I was thinking Oswin, but he's not as a guard, so we'll see what he's listed as. Because I think that Oswin from Madrid was a spectacular player. So, but I know what Paris did have the number one rushing offense in the league. Maybe I've been sleeping a little bit on Lewis then, if he's a guard. Because Lewis Thomas is a spectacular player. I've met him in person, great guy. Ravens, of course, they have about 16 offensive linemen, all-star numbers. Oswin was so good, but he's not listed as a guard on this. I think he's probably listed as a tackle. But he is really, 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 really good. I think this is reasonable. I think the Ryan Fire offensive line did have a slightly more down year. Who had the best passing offense? Madrid, makes sense. Nordic Storm in second. Berlin actually in third, interestingly. Surge at 4. See, I actually have some hot takes as well when it comes to tackles, because I think tackles are going to be very, very interesting. Because there were so many good tackles this year, it's going to be ridiculously hard to narrow down to just 4. I imagine I'm going to get 4. So, Lewis Thomas, Nick Veen's, Alessandro Vigani, Dominic Angela. Are there any complaints from anyone at this 4? Am I forgetting someone didn't play? I'm pretty sure all of them played at least 10 games. I kind of like that as a number, Like if they played 10 games, I feel like that's more of a concrete. I don't like it when they've only played like 8, for example, and then they get all-star votes as much. I'm not necessarily a fan of doing that. Pretty sure I saw a lot of Nick Veen's this year. Maybe I'm tripping, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yep, played a bunch. No question. Actually, did he play? No, it doesn't actually say. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yeah, Nick Veen's played all the games. He's got to double check to make sure I don't look like a fool. You know how it is. But no one seems to be in stark contrast with any of those picks. So that's pretty good. We're definitely doing something right if no one's screaming at me about a different player. I think CK could be in that, but he started a little bit slower the year, didn't play as much. Dominic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just on the dot of 10. I said 10. So I think it's reasonable he's in. Vigani, of course, the fine wine himself. Alessandro Vigani. And the Surge, they were kind of a weird team because they didn't really have to do as much, to be honest. And Vigani played more than 10. You can just see that straight up. And saw Lewis. No, I haven't seen Lewis. Just gotta make sure with Lewis real quick. If he's paid 10 or more, then we'll have men. But I'm pretty sure he has. Yes. That's my 4. It's hard to narrow it down to those 4, but that's my 4. Tackles. Now, this one is probably the hardest position for me to pick. I don't think anyone from Berlin gets it. I don't think anyone from Cologne gets it. I don't think anyone from Hervar. The Galaxy, I think Keanu makes it. Keanu had a great year. Steven was hurt for a part of the season. I need to see how many he played, but I know that he was hurt for part of the season. Steven Nilsson is a spectacular player. Spectacular player. But if he's not played 10 games, I'm not going to put him in. Which sounds crazy, but I like my all-stars playing, I think that's pretty reasonable. I need to see how many he played. If he didn't play 10, not put him in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fuck. I'm not going to put Steven Nilsson. People are going to get really angry, but I want you to play 10. And that's the same for everyone. that pains me. That really does. I hope everyone knows how much of a fan I am of him. I think that Brendan Oswin, sorry, an unbelievable season. He was great. Roman Weinhardt, also great. You could put Garrett Brandt in there as well. I might just do that. I'm just scanning through. Paris didn't have a great season for tackles. I think that the Prague offensive line was a good unit, but I don't think anyone stood out necessarily. Round fire, I think Arnold's got in there. Sven could get in there easy. I'm just having a look. I got one more spot. I got to be careful with it. Marlowe's this as a tackle is interesting because Marlowe's more of an offensive guy. I think Hullup's a good shout. Luka Jokel was great. Victor Stoffel was great. Man, do I leave out Lucas? Oh man, Lucas. I think it's got to be Lucas or Victor. Shit, the bad what decision. I'm pretty sure Victor played in all of them, and for what I was watching of Victor on tape, he's just phenomenal. He played 10? He definitely played 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he played in all games. I think I've got to go with Victor. And Lucas is a phenomenal player. Lucas is going to have a very long, successful career, whether it's in Europe or in the future, maybe in the States, whatever. Sven, amazing. Arnold, amazing. This is just the kind of difficulty to Bas Rodlinger, outstanding. This is just a problem with having such a stacked offensive line unit in the ELF. Garrett Brandt was great. Ezat, he's definitely a guard. I think you hit the nail on the head. Ezat's definitely a guard. Like, he's good at tackle. But he's indispensable as a guard. I literally wrote this on my offensive line stuff of him. Personally, I don't think he had an all-star level year at tackle, but I think he could have guard. Hullet for sure. Lucas been very consistent. He is a consistent player. He's a great player. The only rated that should be on all-star list is Isaiah. I'm not even sure which position he's listed. He's listed at tackle. And Isaiah is one of the players I've become a big fan of. There he is, Isaiah Kleinberg. And tackles even maybe a little bit on facts. He's one of the very, very few offensive linemen that can play all 5 positions. Isaiah is a player that has gone so high up on my boards when he was lower. I was not a massive fan of him coming in because I was watching him in Bristol and I wasn't that impressed. In the Raiders, he just works so much better. He looks great. He's a lot more active. He's just better in every single way than what it was in Bristol. This is tough, but I think I'm going to go with 4. Hullub, Sven, Stephen, Garrett. You know, you guys will get votes. You guys will get votes. But I think all these guys were also important, like incredible. Yeah, like offensive tackle is probably the position that's hardest to make offensive line all-star. It probably is the most competitive, that and safety and quarterback. Well, not really quarterback, because there's only 3 of them. I'm doing it. I'm just going to fucking do it. Oh, that's so tough to leave out Steven Nelson and Garrett and some of the other guys. Jesus Christ. Isaiah, he's been really, yes, he's lost a lot of weight. He looks great. Center, I only get 2. Let's just go one by one again. I don't think any of these offensive lines were good enough. Well, some of them don't even have centers listed. Okay, let me have a look. So Ngami, he was good for Madrid, if I'm not... okay, so Harry Sayre isn't listed as centre, but he isn't one of them. Waheem, I think is one of the guys that should be considered. Let me make sure he played 10. I'm pretty sure he did. Because Waheem is the most outstanding centre in the ELF. It's not, like, as a technical standpoint, it's not even close. It's Waheem. But did he play 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He only played 9 games. Christensen only played 9 games. Which means I can't vote him as an all-star. Oh, Why didn't you just play one more? Fuck. God, I can't take one here. Oh, fuck's sake. Gasparo was good. Oh, man. But I can't go back. I said I removed Steven because of the rule. I can't go back on it. Fuck me. Okay. He just was great. He just was. Like, he was so good this year. Oh, man. And Munich, for some reason, don't have a centre listed. I think it was Harry that was playing centre for them this year. Oh, man. Fuck. I'm going to need some help with this one, boys. My number one pick's out the window, and this is kind of tough. That's true. They did lose. That is a good point. They did lose the game. I think that should be my I think that should be my getaway. And I'm looking at Ngami as well from Madrid. He started over Nunez. I'm like 99% sure he did. Because Ngami's a great player. It says he only started like 2 or 3. Maybe I'm tripping. Am I tripping? I swear Ngami played for them like the whole season. Yeah, I think now that you say they missed one game, I can be a bit more lenient with it, although I'm like 100% scared to. But Ngami, I think is my guy, maybe because maybe even someone, because Vikings, I feel like Marcus didn't play in center. Maybe I'm tripping. Isaac Moritz. Did he play center this year? See, it's this center, like so many of them change every year. I don't know why. Like there's so many people that switch from playing guard to center. Like Gasparo was a center and he was also a guard. Like it's so many people switch and they go from tackle to guard and to center. Like center, I don't know why it has so much rotation. But Gasparo was very good. He got hurt in the last game. But they also had the best rushing. If he was the actual guy that was playing center, which I think he was, I'm pretty positive he was. But he also plays guard, so he probably was moving quite a lot between the two of them, if I'm going to be real. They did have the best rushing offense in the league, as shown. So if he was playing center or guard, I think that he should be considered for that. And Munich actually don't have Harry Sayer listed does that, so I'm going to go for that. Gasparo and Christensen with the one game excluded because he didn't get to play it, so it's not necessarily his fault. Defensive tackle. Wow, hard one. This one is tough. I need to see who's listed at defensive tackle as well, because some guys are listed, some guys are not listed at defensive tackle. The Paris Musketeers had the best rushing defense, also interesting. Let's go player by player. No offense to some of these teams, but I'm not going to be giving too much into some of them. I think the Gags had a pretty poor run defense for a lot of the year. Hamburg had some guys, but they weren't great. The Drip Rivals defense was rough. The Raiders guard. Which one? Not Rodlinger, not Pepler, not... Was it Wild? Edouard Louis was good, actually, this year. I think Edouard Louis could be a shout. Stop going on bookmarks, do you know what I mean? Let me duplicate this tab just so I can go between the stats and the rankings. Who led in TFLs between defensive tackles? Mahon, yeah. This is true. Right, let me look at tackling. TFLs. Who led in TFLs? It's an important thing. Carl Kitchens, Artis, Rydell, but Hamburg were shit. So I'm a little bit more careful. Hugo Carglo was good. He also had a couple sacks, which is important. I think that he could be a guy that would be there. Chris Malumba, if he didn't play 10, it's going to be tough to put him in, but he is just like one of the most talented players in the league. I think that Hugo is a solid call. so far. We can start off with Hugo. He had a great year. Where's Hugo? There he is. Very good pass rush and D tackle. An excellent player. Had a lot of success. So I think that's reasonable. Can I just let me feel about defensive tackle? Because I think it should be the same. Will Lyler, when he played 7 games, I'm not going to count him. Was good in those 7 games. Got 7 TFLs and 5 sacks in those 7 games. But not quite enough. Third down stops. That's interesting. Jakub Smutny. Not even close. He's in. I'm not even going to fucking justify it. He is an all-star. Jakub Smutny is the all-star. Look at that. Third down stops. Jakub Smutny, number 7. Well, number 2 with 7 stops. And with 2 stops on 4th down. Jakub Smutny, 2.5 sacks, a couple TFLs, 35 total tackles. Absolutely. I think Mamadou Sai as well. He only played 9 though, fuck's sake. Okay, Jack Lau. Now, Jack Lau is one of the most underappreciated players in the league right now. I think he could be an all-star. He was great this year. Paris had a great defensive line. Kind of hard to take one out and not put one in. I think he had less than Mamadou. He did have a little bit less than Mamadou. I'm gonna put Sai. I'll put Mamadou Sai. He was great. I think Jakub, Mamadou, Hugo. If Chris, and then see now Schaefer only played 9. Eto'o Louis played 11. Had some really good moments. I'm thinking Louis might be the guy. Sacks, I'm on D-tack. Oh, see now Jack Lau had 6 sacks. Now that does make it interesting. Jack Lau with 6 sacks is really fucking good. And he got 4 stops on 3rd down. Let me put Jack Lau in there for a second. I might change that, but he was great. We do need a Dream Team award. I agree. I think that we should have, I'm just saying, I don't know if I'm going to be listened to with this, but I do think we should have like an All-Pro and we should have like a Pro Bowl. I'm just saying. I know the fans, I trust the fans, I love the fans, but some of their picks, people vote for their friends. They do. Now Gruber, he's a D-end. Also, realistically, probably not. It was good, but not elite this season as compared to other guys who are also phenomenal. Who are the most yardage? Will Lionel, Hugo in there. I think Riddle. See, I'm just hesitant because Hamburg were so not good. How many did Chris play? Is Chris listed as a D tackle? Chris might not be listed as a D tackle. Actually, is Chris even listed as a D tackle in this at all? I'm just going to look through a couple guys as well, because you never know. Okay, so he isn't actually listed as a D tackle. So that's okay. But is he... I actually really like Dobson Hobson. And I also like Vanderkoft. He was also very good when he was playing. I liked him. Yeah, but it's about what I list that in this as well. Honestly, I think that falls pretty solid. I do think that was some really, really good players this year. Don't get me wrong, but Eto'o Louis could be in there. He did have some really damn good plays, but who do I take out? 1.5 sacks. He did have a forced fumble. He had a pick as well. Did play 11 games. Got some good stops. Got some. He's a great run stopper. Who do I take out? Mamadou or Jack? I wish you could do like a comparison. So we've got Louis, 4 TFLs, 1.5 sacks from D tackle. Is the defensive tackle position. Sai had more sacks. I think I'm leaning Sai. Yeah, I think I'm leaning Sai just because Paris were really good at stopping around, but also Paris, and they did face some fucking rough teams too. So yeah, I might go with that. I think that Eto'o Louis will get a ton of votes, but I think I'm going to keep it like that. But would not be surprised if Eto'o Louis is an all-star. Same with Hitzwell, really, really good player. Darkwa as well, big fan of. There's obviously a ton of guys you could put D-tackle. I'm just going to put those guys in there just because we can. So, number 4, we've got 4 defensive ends. That's edges. Honestly, Aaron could be there. Kleinman. I think, of course, you put Carl Kitchens. He was very, very good. What's up, what's up, what's up? That's 4 or 5. I agree. It's hard to not put Carl Kitchens. I'm going to just straight away put Lucky in there. I'm going to straight away put Max in there. I know that looks like just, you've picked the top 4 guys in sacks. Or top most guys in sacks. Lucky, though he doesn't have as many sacks, 7.5, was unbelievable all season. I think the Doncor is in that kind of same boat of was phenomenal. Maybe the stats aren't pop off, but was phenomenal. Fitzpatrick was great as well. I think he could be in there. Aaron played in a bad team and got some of his stats later. You could say the same about Kitchens, but Kitchens being doubled a lot, because his team weren't pulling that weight necessarily on defensive line. So, who got the most stops? Arthur Kingdom, linebacker, safety, linebacker. D-tackle was Smutney. See, Carl Kitchens also got some good stops, especially on third down. He was also unbelievable against Prague. Arzan Zetterberg, he's such a good fucking player. Jan Starry, also I'm tempted to consider for there. Same with Danik. Aaron did get 3 forced fumbles, so did Lucky. Now this one's a tough one. I've really got some forward. That's not what I wanted to see. I was seeing them. It's that's defense sub TNT. I'm thinking, honestly, it could be Doncor. But did he play 10 games? Because he came in a little later. I can't remember if he played 10 games. He did play 10. He got 4 sacks. Again, stats don't tell the whole story, but Aaron, he was so good. I think I might put Aaron. He was messing the fuck. Oh wait, he's going to be listed as a linebacker. He's technically on the team as a linebacker, so he won't be here. Okay, that makes it a little bit more fucking difficult, doesn't it? Because I'm going to not put someone else. Okay, that's rough. You know who's also really good and prove me wrong is Diego Paz. I wasn't very hot on Diego Paz in the preseason. I was a little bit worried. I was like, I don't know, he's a bit young. I'm not sure about that signing, but he was really, really good. He very pleasantly surprised me. I think Jan Starry and Malik Danik could be in that discussion. You look at just pure numbers-wise, they both did very well. I think Fitzpatrick is going to be a linebacker, if I'm not mistaken, which is going to be a discussion for in a minute. Yes, he is. Who got the most sacks? Can I see that? Stuttgart Surge got 48 sacks. That's incredible. Lucky did come in late. But Lucky did play 10 games. If Lucky didn't play 10 games, it's going to be really fucking upset. Lucky didn't come in late. Lucky played 12. Lucky came in late in terms of the off-season, but he still played 12. Same with Seelick. Came in late in the off-season, but not too late. Who led the surge? Lachman. And also Malumba got 6. Was fucking so good. Lachman could be in there. He could be. DeMarco, tempted, but not the best first, half of the season. Honestly, I might go Danik. He had 8 stops, 7.5 sacks, a forced fumble, 47 total tackles, which is more than a lot of players get, so. He had a good sack yardage. He actually had 3rd sack. Yeah, fuck it. I'm fucking putting Danik in there. People are going to think that's biased, but he was great. I remember we were shouting his name an awful lot during the streams. See, now I do really like Lachman. This is the tough challenge when it comes to this kind of stuff. It'd be good if I could see the stats. If Lackman, please, stats work, please. When did he get his sacks? Okay, so sack against Galaxy, good. Sack again. You know what? Sack and a half against Paris, also good. Hot start and a sack against Hamburg. Went a long time with that one. Half sack against Paris, 2 against Cologne, 1/2 against Verheervar. Now let's check for Prague with Mr. Danik. Because he was really good. I mean, we were actively praising him in a lot of games. He was very good. Half a sack against Vienna. Half against Indronas. 2.5 against the Panthers. 1 against Hamburg. 1 against Vienna. 1 against them. 1 against them. I'm thinking I'm just going to stick with Danik. Yeah, more tackles as well. And then I'm going to stick with Danik. It looks biased, maybe a little bit, but I think that Danik had a great year. He was actually really fucking good. Right, linebacker, we get 6, which is good. So I'm just going to stab in Mr. Aaron Doncourt just straight away. And I'm honestly tempted just to put someone like Nicholas in there too, because he was really good for a large part of the year. I think that perhaps where is he at? Marius Kenzie, I think, could be in this. It does feel a bit wrong, I agree. But it was just like they had a lot of guys do a lot of things, but also Serge were resting so many guys. But they did have, I can understand. But Chris didn't play 10 games, and that's the arbitrary rule I put onto this. Right, let's go with Berlin. I don't think Berlin had any linebackers at all-star level. Same with Cologne, respectively. Same with the Enthroners, respectively. Galaxy, I think that you put Toby in there. Toby was, now I do want to be sure that Toby was inconsistent, but when Toby was good, Toby was really fucking good. And Toby won them that game. Partly won them that game against Nordic. So I don't feel anything wrong about putting Toby in there. Hamburg, no. Helvetic, no. We can put Hinder in there, maybe we'll come back to that one. Madrid, I don't think so. Munich, I think Nasri was good this season. We go total tackles. I know total tackles is it is a bit of a misleading stat, in my opinion. I don't think tackles are everything. Some people think tackles are a lot. Tackles are important, but they're not the be-all, end-all of a player. Like, some people are like, oh, got like all these tackles. Like, this guy has all these tackles. He's clearly the best. Not all the way. But having said that, let's get AJ in. Because AJ was very good. And then there's Toby. I think we put Hugo in there. He had a great season. Over 100 tackles. He also had 7 TFLs, 2 sacks, a few third down stops, and also a couple forced fumbles. So I think we can put in the Swede. Where is he at? There he is, Hugo Dyrol. So we actually get 6. But I need to see who is counted as a rush, because I think Fitzpatrick is in here. Yeah. Great season. Very impactful. I think he was very, very good. And I think you got to put Arthur in there. Arthur Kingdom was spectacular. Probably the most balanced linebacker in the league. I don't think that's I think that's true, man. He's really good. Nasri is spectacular, but who do you take out? Do you take out Hugo? Do you take out Aaron? Because Aaron maybe didn't have the most statistical, but I think Aaron had just an impact that you can see on tape. Same with Dex. Arthur Kingdom for me was just an all-star level player. Like, he was so fucking good. But Nasri, Gavin Potter, I don't know why, but my chat is actually not lined up. We'll just read it off. Ken Hike, Arthur Kingdom, I agree. Lalo could be in there. Nico Bang, definitely in there. Gavin Potter, I don't think was an all-star. He was great, don't get me wrong. For some reason my chat isn't loading up. But Gavin Potter, excellent linebacker. Just not an all-star. I'm going to be real. I think the Nasri could be there. Wouldn't be mad at Nasri being in there, but who do I take out? Where was Nasri in the numbers? Total tackles. Nasri was had 80 total tackles. Had a few, he had moments, but he was below Sean, below Para. No stats on everything, but I think I'm quite happy where I'm at, though. I hear you, but he did get quite a lot of sacks. You know, he did come third in sacks. When we look at his individual games, we'll give it a full check out. Sack against the Raiders, 2 sacks against Berlin, 1 sack at Helvetic. Okay, now you could call, I don't mean to be rude, I do like Dex a lot. You could call into question the competition in which he's getting sacks. Raiders, very good, don't get me wrong. Berlin, not great. Helvetic, not good. Berlin again, so 3.5 sacks came against Berlin. Doesn't get a sack against the Surge in either game. Doesn't get one against Madrid, doesn't get one in Helvetic again, doesn't get one in the Raiders. Gets 2 against the Panthers. Say what you will. Panthers not the best team. I do think Nasri made an impact. So it's kind of, pick a Raven at this point, He does control that defense. That is very true. Let me look at Nasri's numbers. Because Nasri he is like kind of the heart of that team, I guess you would say. So here's individual numbers. So you see 10 tackles against the Surge, 10 tackles against the Surge again, 10 against Madrid. He had a ton of action against some of the best teams. TFLs, for some reason, it's not coming over with stats, because he did have some more stats than that, but that's a good point, actually. Where is Lalo? I don't think he is. I think Lalo is, I think, the safety. Yeah, Timmy Nuka, I would listen to it, but I think that Nasri was probably the guy. I think I've been convinced for Nasri. Again, some outstanding players in that Ravens linebacker core, but I'm going to go with that. And now the fucking chat's up there. I know what it was. I haven't got to safeties yet. I want to be clear. I haven't got to safeties yet. Don't worry, Ricardo. We'll get there. But I think this is my linebackers. AJ, Nasri, Hugo, Aaron, Toby Naylor, and Arthur Kingdom. I think is my linebacker core. Was submitting it before I start overthinking. Corners. Let's talk about some corners. Straight away, I don't think Bijan Harris played enough games. I think that Ken Hike is a lock. That's my opinion. I will very, very strongly. Safety is going to be really fucking hard. Ken Hike was one of the best players full stop this season. I think he could be in line for a DPOY. Generally, he was incredible. Nitz, reasonable, but I think the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken, massively struggled with their pass defense this year. Is my only thing. Let me go receive. No, we want to go defense. We want to go total yards. It doesn't work for some reason. I don't know, but I'm not mad at it. Dennis was good, but Dennis did get hurt. Let me look at some Vienna. So Panthers, I don't think any of their DBs were all-star worthy. Dennis was very good. He would be a player I'd consider. Only get 4. I think Mitch was good, but he had a quieter year this year. I also think Raheem was really, really good. But again, Surge players in general had quieter years. Yes, he was very good when he was playing. Did Dennis play 10 games? If Dennis played 10 games, I'm not opposed to putting him in because he was very good when he was on. I'm going to put Wolves on that. So he played 11. He did play 11. He got 2 touchdowns, 4 total picks. So I feel pretty comfortable with that. Dennis, I think, do we put Wolves in there? Big Wolves fan. Big Wolves guy right now. I think the Nits was good. I do not think this is Nits' best year. Me and Nitz, we talk often. I think that he might agree. He played well, but he didn't play all-star level, in my opinion. Although he did play good. Dennis, I think, is very fair. I was a big fan of him watching. I really like Wolves, and kind of stats aren't really going to tell the story when it comes to DBs, as always. But you look at Dennis, he was right up there. Tony Anderson was really good. Reasonable. Okay, so Wolves actually got really good yardage too. Didn't know that. Pass of defense can hike Weatherspoon, but he had some bad games. Rodion is up there. Miles had a great rookie season. See, you say that, but Jeffrey Umber was a good corner. He was a rookie corner, was playing on the side, and he was pretty good. Jim Malcolm was good. Man, there were some really good corners this year. And again, stats don't tell the whole story when it comes to corners. But it's important to see who created those turnovers. I'm kind of leaning Tony. I'm not going to lie. Yep, absolutely agree. I'm leaning Tony. I might put Tony. He was great. He got some really key interceptions, especially last week. Where are we at? Ryan. Okay, let me just review. Maybe I'm missing someone. Maybe I'm missing just... I did like some of the guys from Madrid at some points, but again, they got hurt. I want to be clear, I did like Nitz. Very much so at corner. I like Khaled at times. Wasn't perfect, granted. I think even he would admit that, even through everything. Jamal Liggins, fantastic. I think, honestly, Guilford did really, really well. I don't think all-star. I think he did really, really well. Yeah, man, he was that's so fucking cool. I'm assuming you mean against Paris, and that actually kind of sealed him the game for that. So I think just for that moment alone, he could be an all-star. Yeah, I think Raheem or Mitch could be in there, but I think moments-wise, because Tony did get that pick against Ryan in the last game, and I think arguably you could say that won him the game. Or that was one of the moments that won him the game. So I don't feel too pressed about putting Tony in. He's been great for years. Ken Hike was the best corner in the league this year, in my opinion. Amani Dennis was awesome. Dejan Walls was also ridiculously good this year. So I think I'm happy with that. Safeties. Safeties. I'm putting Lalo in. Lalo was so fucking good. So fucking good. Tony's a corner. Tony's a safety. Tony's a nickel. Tony plays everywhere in DB. Lalo was phenomenal at safety, so I am not mad about him being in there. I think that he is in there. Amari Williams, another player that could be in this. Amari did have a great year. Luke Lana, he was great this year. Naz was great this year. I think you got to put Fencher in there as well. 5 picks. I think he led the league in yardage too. I think you got to put Fencher. The fact he got 5 interceptions is crazy. I think you have... Karamoko was really good too, man. Yeah. Tony can play literally everywhere on the DBs. You can have 4. I can have 4 guys. In total, 4 safeties. I think you got to put let's see, the thing with Glenda though, they played looser competition. He was great though. He did play very, very well. Borkovic had a good season, but the impact was less. What I mean by that is he had 130 tackles, which is unbelievable, but he wouldn't have had 130 tackles if he was on a better team. That's the truth of it. Great player. I literally made a video praising him and how much I like him as a player and how good he is. He had a ton of stops all season. It was actually that many third down stops. You don't want Glenna? I'm not mad at it, but he did get 5 picks and he did play well throughout the year. Who did he get the picks against? I think that matters to me. I'm still kind of want him in, but I'm listening to the conversation with Luke. But I do still think that he probably is an all-star. Because he also got some great numbers. So interceptions. 1 against Nordic, 1 against Galaxy, good team. 2 against Berlin, 1 against Hamburg. But 11 tackles against Rhein, 11 tackles against Hamburg, Frankfurt. Array deserves more. Interesting. Okay, I'm open to discussion with that. Let me just go from the very top, because safety-wise, I think some of the teams, respectfully, I don't think should be considered. I think Naz can be considered for this. I don't think anyone from Helvetic. Cole Coleman was great. I agree, didn't stand out as much as last year, so that's probably the open spot. I think we can all agree Lalo, because man, what a year. I think Lotoro, again, I personally, he got some incredible moments. He got picks against some of the best teams. You look at his season and the moments he had just on paper, even without just remembering the moments he had and the important plays that he made. You look at the games he played. An interception against Verhervar, 2 against the Sea Devils in the win, that was very, very close. 1 against the Galaxy in the win, which was very, very close. No, that one wasn't close, but still a great win. Another one against the Interrunners when it was a close game. Multiple breakups as well. Tons of yardage. I'm thinking Coleman was great. He was really good. I think Naz had a good year because Naz got 100 tackles. I know he'll message me about that. He did have a good season, but again, I'm a little bit more with tackles because it can be a reflection that the team isn't very good. What's up, Davide? How you doing, brother? Let me look on passes defensed for if there's any safeties that are leading that. Glenna did get 11 passes defensed. We slept on that. Any kids? No. That's something. The defense of Ravens is so strange. Who was an all-star? Yeah, they that's not wrong, honestly. It's because the Ravens are just one collective unit, But then we're leaving out someone like Amari. And Amari was great this season. I don't think it was his best year. And kind of Amari's not best year is still probably an all-star year, but this safety class was really, really good. I'm still questioning Naz though, because great on special teams. No one's going to deny that. He's definitely in the running for that. But Hamburg were not a good team. I know that he will not be happy with that. But it's a discussion to be had. I think there's a couple spots that are open because we've got to leave out someone, right? That's the thing. Who do we leave out? It's a very tough decision that we all have to make when we're doing our things. Yeah, Yan did have a lot of stats. That's something, but again, I'm not that. Tackles is good. It doesn't blow my mind, Ben's very good. I wouldn't say no-brainer, personally. I do think that he's very good, though. But I wouldn't say no-brainer. I think that Ben does have some stuff to clean up, even still. Naz had a great season, though. 5 third-down stops. He also had a sack. He was everywhere. He's seeking missile. Amari, great year. Karamoko, great year. Oh, man, do I want to leave out Karamoko? Because he was also so good, man. Maddox was good as well. My gosh. Safety is hard. Safety is really, really, really hard. Who was 4th down stops? Pablo. Well, this is a tough one, Maddox was great. Do I want to keep it like that? Who do you reckon? Naz? Glenna? Coleman. There's a little trio that I think could see some movement. I'm just saying. All those guys deserve to be in the conversation, but only two guys really can be, which leaves someone leaving on the outside in. And I'm kind of between Naz and I'm between Glenna. And I'm kind of leaning towards Glenna because he had a more success. And then again, fuck's sake. Yeah, Pablo was great. Don't get me wrong, but like All-Star, I don't know. Borderline All-Star, absolutely could be in the discussion. I think yes, but I'm a bit back and forth. I do value the picks, but Glenn didn't get the picks against the best teams in the league. This last safety spot is hurting me. I generally don't know who to go for because there's so many guys. I haven't even discussed some of the other guys that could be in this. What about if I just limit it to like free safety, strong safety? Like I said, Mahov was 68 tackles. Insane. Young was good when he was playing, but I don't know about All-Star. But Karamoko. Okay, that's fine. Keep Naz. Because I think that Karamoko, I think that he is the guy I'm thinking I might put in, to be honest. Like, he was really fucking good. Like, you turn on the tape and watch Karamoko, it's a fucking dream. Because dude's sick. He's getting 10 tackles against Ryan, and a TFL and a pass break, and a 10 against Stuttgart, 11 against Frankfurt, another 8. Didn't play against Cologne. So didn't put up numbers against bad team. Vienna, again, he's putting up numbers. See, this is why I'm thinking Karamoko. 13 against Vienna. A TFL as well. Cologne, he played, but he didn't really play. Didn't register any stats. So all of his stats are coming against the good teams. Which makes me think I'm going to put Karamoko in. Because I honestly think he's been one of the best. I think you turn on the tape, you can see how good he's been this year. Fuck it. I'm putting him in. Returner. It's probably Willie P. Actually, who got the most? I get 2, right? Yeah. So it's probably Devon, but Devon had not as good of a year this year. Return wise, Devon Brow did a 4 touchdown. Yeah, 4 of those were on special teams. He had the 1,500 return, which is great. Naz didn't score, so yeah, Karamoke's good. I'm glad people don't hate that. Okay, now this is a interesting one because honestly, returns is kind of deceptive. I'm not going to go off yards. Can I go for like average? Walls is a corner. Walls is a corner. Walls is a corner. Walls is a corner. Walls was an all-star corner. Reverse the footage, Ricardo. we had Walls at corner. Willie P got 3-point return touchdowns. I think that he's probably there. That's kind of hard to beat, right? Like, yeah, yards are great. I think we'll take it into consideration because Naz had a ton of yards. Walls is in there. Walls is already in there, brother. Walls was an all-star. Oh, for special teams. No. He was good. I don't think he's an all-star returner though. He was good. He wasn't as good as others though. I think Willie P's in there. 3-point return touchdowns, hard to beat. And I think it's probably Devon. Even in his not great season, respectfully, still had 1,500 return yards. And he was still a problem. And he also had 2 return touchdowns and he had a punt return touchdown. So I think that's fair overall. Like, he had 3 total touchdowns on special teams and 1,500 yards. So I think that's fair, right? I don't think Deshaun... Why Wolves? Wolves was good, don't get me wrong. He had 900 yards. He had 1 touchdown now. compared to both of the other guys that got 3. I think it's those guys. We get kicker. Yeah. So it's Timo. Led the league by a mile. And I think it's maybe Rimler. Maybe Rimler. Because he had some clutch kicks. I think Hubron deserves some credit. I think Orthas deserves some credit as well. They both got a lot of points. But I think Rimler's up there, man. He made some big kicks. And he also made 2 50-plus yarders. So I think Ryan's got to be in there, right? We get 2. I think having a man that gets the most points by a mile is fair. Bro, I'm going off numbers, right? But those guys stuck out to me more. Like, Wolves, I've already voted as an all-star corner, so I'm not mad about him not being an all-star returner. Because, like, he was an all-star corner. Who made other 50 yards? It was just Rimler, or Tasic made 1. And then Rimler made the only ones that were 50-plus yards. He made 2 out of 6. So I think he's got to be in there, right? Respectfully, not for me. Laura was good. He had a very successful PATs. He actually kicked some good field goals. Who got the highest field goal range? I guess that kicked a few times. Tasic, honestly, though, like, Tasic actually did pretty good. Tasic got 2 for 2, 2 for 2, 2 for 4, and 1 for 1. Like, you guys might not be Tasic fans, but he did alright, you know, he did his moments. But I do still think it goes down to Bron and Rimler. Just the guys that scored the most and the guys that scored from, like, really fucking far. Punter-wise, we ain't got made to choose from, unfortunately. Stork. Nah, brother, you do you, man. You're not an all-star this year, so you're going to heat from the bench, you know. Punting. Who got the most inside the 20? Eisenhout. Let's put him as a consideration. And I'm thinking Stork because I just remember. Maybe I'm tripping. And see, Hubron was a kicker as well. But he's not listed as a punter. Who got the 50? Eisenhout, I think he's probably the pretty unanimous. But honestly, I wish Hubron was listed as both. That would be good. Centurion's punter is good. So let's put him in for the... How we do Daniel? Where is Daniel on the numbers? There he is. He had fucking tons of yards. It's a shame that, like, Hubron is only listed as a kicker and not a punter, because he had the most, he had 2,000 punt return yards. Or punt yards, sorry. The average, seen it as the average punt, that's so funny. But it's Eisenhout again, and then it is a Cologne punter. A long of 69 yards, which I believe nice, which would be one of the longest. Yeah, why not? You know what? Cologne should have a fucking all-star. I've already voted for this. So, back to all positions. Here we go. We're going to do a quick roundup, and we'll end the stream after that one. These are my all-star players for the 2025 ELF season. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you everyone who's going to watch on a relive, because a lot of people watch this afterwards and message me with a lot of hate, which is fine, and a lot of love, which I appreciate. My callbacks, Reed Sinnott, Ben Holmes. My running backs, Justin Rodney, Lucas Hasselvanta. Fullbacks, Patrick Posch and Leon Helm. My wide receivers, Aaron Cruikshank, Brendan Bolio, John Cole, William Patterson, Dal Stewart and Harlan Kofi. My tight ends, Andrea Botello Moreno and Florian Beerbaumer. My offensive guards, Dominic Antra, Nick Veens, Alessandro Vigani and Lewis Thomas. Offensive tackles, Keanu Webanks, Brandon Oswin, Roman Weinhardt and Victor Stoffel. Center, Joaquin Christensen and Jeremy Gasparo. Defensive tackle, Hugo Cargles and Jacob Smugny, Mamadou Sai and Jack Lau. Defensive ends, Carl Kitchens, Lucky, Max Parkinson and Marek Danik. Linebackers, Aaron Donkor, Toby Naylor, Adrian Wetland, Hugo Dyrell, Arthur Kingdom and Will Nazary. Cornerback, Ken Hake, Manny Dennis, Dijon Walls, and Tony Anderson. Safeties, Elmer Ilalo, Latoro Frencha, Cole Coleman, and Sulemanik Koromenko. Returner, Willie P., Devin Burrell. Kicker, Timo Braun, Ryan Rimler. And punter, Maximilian Eisenhut and Daniel Schumacher. There you go. There you are. Honours, man. Oh, European scale for a toss-up. My honours. You know what? Let's do honours real quick, right? I can do honours. I need to remember who's at, like, all of the honours. Actually, to have submitted my honours sheet. You know what? Let me just say it up for the people that stayed. I will read out my my votes for it. Who I actually voted for. Where is it? I have it because I sent it to the ELF. So, my assistant coach of the year, this is my official honours I actually voted for. This is the official vote from me that I actually sent to the league. My assistant coach of the year was Carl Callahan, OC from Munich. My comeback player of the year was John Cole. My defensive rookie was Arthur Kingdom. You could argue he could be overall rookie. Defensive rookie, Chris Makaya. My fault. Defensive rookie, Kingdom. Offensive rookie, Kaya. Overall rookie, Seelig. Willie P., Special Teams Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, I have Lucky. Offensive Player of the Year, I have Reed Sinnott. MVP, I have Aaron Cruikshank. Offensive Lineman of the Year, I have Roman Weinhardt. Sorry, Roman. Homegrown of the Year, I have Rodney. And Coach of the Year, I have Warner. There we go. So, perfect. I do. I'm not mad at Brooks. Just, I think the Munich Ravens offense was just like, he had a young quarterback and he did what, like, he really, really, really excelled. But Brooks was another one I really strongly push people to vote for. Like, if either of them wins, it's a W all over. All right. It's been a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I will see you guys tomorrow for ELF Live, right? I'll see you tomorrow for ELF Live. It's going to be great. I'm going to retreat back into my day. I came back from Swansea today. I miss my girlfriend. So I'm a little bit, a little bit sad. Pleasure as always. Thank you everyone who's joined. Thank you everyone who's going to watch in a real live. Thank you Jamal. Thank you Malik. Thank you Moto. Thank you Ricardo. Everyone. Thank you very much. Seelig, I did go back and forth with this one, but I think Seelig was just such a revelation, right? He had so many unbelievable games. Finished with over 1,000 yards combined. He was just like so exciting. But if someone honestly could go with Arthur Kingdom as overall rookie, if there's anyone I would think, if they don't want to put Seelig, that's fine. If they put Arthur Kingdom, I'm completely okay with that. Then I would change it to Arthur Kingdom Rookie of the Year, Seelig Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Rookie of the Year would probably be Umba from Munich. Probably. Yes. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Thank you everyone tuning in. Much love. Sending